Alrighty. Alrighty. Want to make sure that we're kind of live everywhere. Let me know if we can hear okay, guys. Kind of doing a little tester stream here. Hopefully it'll show the Twitter comments. Post a comment if you're in the Twitter live just so I can make sure it's popping up here correctly. If you are in there. All right. What I want to do today is I just kind of want to go over the hit rater. I want to kind of set up our filters, our markets, and kind of show what we do to find good plays. Um, so obviously there are a handful of markets. If you're betting on books, right away you're going to see minus 5,000 under stolen bases. We don't really want to see those. So let's kind of filter those out, right? So I like to go total bases, hits, runs, RBIs. Um, depending on what books you are betting on, if you're going prize picks, underdog, things like that, you can filter in singles, earned runs allowed, hits allowed, strikeouts recorded. Typically is where I go. So that gives us 6 markets, and immediately we can see we're already getting some better looks, right? Um, you wanna set your sports books up in the top right here. Obviously, these are the books I use. I like to have the sharp books toggled on, like Pinnacle, Bookmaker, Circa, things like that. Um, DraftKings, FanDuel are pretty standard. I like to leave those on. We can kinda start there. If you wanna go game by game, we can do that. If you want to, just look at it overall, we can do that as well. I personally like to start, if we look at starting pitchers, I like to do a minimum filter against our starting pitchers. So we click the filter tab, and we wanna make sure we get a minimum of 4 game sample size. We can apply that filter. And now you can see you have Harrison Bader, over hits, runs, RBIs, 4 out of 4 against the starting pitcher, right? So I would kinda start there, kinda see, okay, that's a plus money play. Um, we're getting better odds on Profit X. And if you click this little tab here, you see all the book odds that we're getting, right? You see all the book odds offerings for this particular prop. So let's kind of dive into it, right? We can click here. We see Mackenzie Gore on the mound against. This is the game overview page. This will give you a 30,000-foot view of everything for that game. It's going to be a warm one, wind kind of blowing right to left. Twins are favored in this game. Gore, we know he's got the strikeout stuff, right? 33% strikeout against lefties, 28 against righties. What we can do here is we can filter the Twins batting order. That's weird. Let's actually look at Harrison Bader in depth against left-hand pitching. Nothing too crazy sticks out there. We can dive deeper though. Let's take a look at the that's interesting. Okay, I kind of want to look at that because so he has had 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs against score in 4 games. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. That one's kind of weird. I may have to talk to the guys on that one. 'Cause that one's kind of not lining up exactly how I thought it would. We can also do by hand as well. And if you don't want to get like these minus 200 to 300 bases plays, you can set a minimum odd of like 140. If you want to, if you wanted to do that, you can do that. That's typically where I'll start it. Like if I'm doing Prize Picks plays. Oh, Huncho reposted the stream. That's Hunch Goat for those that don't know. That guy is the goat. Appreciate that, man. Let's see here. So Jose Ramirez, as you know, he has been on a tear of late. Tear of late. Last 9 of 10 games, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Love to see that. Love to see that because he kinda started the season a little bit slow. You know, I remember last year, you could just take Jose Ramirez with confidence. So let's kinda see his numbers against Michael Wacha. So 4 for 14, nothing that's really gonna stick out to you in the 4 for 14, but, I mean, just looking at this, man, an absolute tear, just a ton of green, right? He's only missed once out of his last 10 games, and we can even run it back further, I bet, with him. Yeah, so you see he was kinda on that struggle a little bit, like we were talking about, started the season pretty slow. Then all of a sudden, he has just turned it on here. I mean, and this is just against right-hand pitching. If you take that out, I mean, in his last 15 games against all pitchers, man, that's pretty insane. 12 of 15. We're getting a minus 136 on that as our best line. You know, so you can if you really want to deep dive a line in the tab, you'll see it here. You can click line analysis, and you can kind of see what other books are offering. So we're getting a minus 150 on DraftKings, minus 145 on Bookmaker, all that stuff. Um, this will show the live movement of a play, which I think is really, really, really cool. Um, so you're not getting this offering on Price Picks. I'm imagining that he's got a fantasy score line of what 7.5, 8. If anybody's in the chat, if you have Jose Ramirez fantasy score line on Prize Picks, let me know what it is. I'm gonna say it's 7.5, 8, 8.5, maybe something like that. And that would probably be a pretty good play today. You know, so what I would do here is I see that hit runs RBIs is minus 136. If we scroll over here to total bases, we can see we're getting plus money for total bases. And based on this Prize Picks underline, 1.5 bases is going to be a Prize Picks offering today. So that would be something I'd be interested in. We can actually deep dive this. So we have the player props tab pulled up here. We can actually deep dive it even further, looking at the batter versus pitcher. And this will show all ABs against that starting pitcher since 2020, right? And I think 2020 is a good relevance point because things change in 5 years. So I think 2020 is a good, at least. And I don't always go back that far, right? You see, like he hasn't had a ton of recent success. You know, middle of last year, 8.5 fantasy for Jose. Okay, cool. Yeah, and he's got the stolen base upside, so that's typically where you see that. But that 1.5 total baseline is probably where I would go today. But let's just see stolen bases just to look at it. So, I mean, like he's stealing bases, he's swiping bags. In his last 10, 4 out of 10. So So the reason in fantasy score taking fantasy score over a hit runs RBI line or a total baseline is for fantasy score, anytime they get on base, you're accruing points, right? So if you have hits, runs, RBIs, and they get walked, well, you still have 0 hits, runs, RBIs. But if you're at 8.5 fantasy score, now you're at 2 and they're on base. Anything can happen once they're on base. Stolen bases are huge. They're 5 fantasy points. So you're hit by pitch, you're on first base, you steal second, now you're at 7. You're on second base, you're in scoring position. Somebody drives you in, that's 2 more points, 9 total. And you cash just like that without even getting a hit. So that's kind of my philosophy on prize picks, trying to find edges to beat prize like DFS sites like prize picks, underdog, things like that. Because they're gonna offer you they're not gonna give you the best lines like a book will. And you can see that if you look at strikeouts, right? A lot of times, if you see a guy, I would have to find one. So Michael Walker's 3.5 strikeout line today. Let's see here. So I guarantee you that on prize picks, so Michael Walker, 3.5 strikeout line, I guarantee you is four strikeouts on prize picks. That's what they do. They intentionally price these lines like this. Now, if it is 3.5 on prize picks, I would just take it because it's minus 160 on the books. And you're not gonna get that anywhere else. But I haven't even looked, and I can tell you it's probably 4. So that's what Prize Picks does is they try to get that push, that half line of value to kind of make it more difficult for the user. So that's where the fantasy score comes into it. Yeah, walk is at 4. I figured. Let's see. I do want to deep dive the pitch mix stuff for Jose Ramirez. Let's see. So this is batter versus pitcher. This is going to give you, like I said earlier, game logs back to 2020 if they have them. You can see all. I mean, I love this. You see the exit velocities, launch angles, distance. This is one of the most in-depth tools you're going to find in the marketplace today. It's all right here on one screen. We can sort by 2025 for Waka. Now Jose's a switch hitter, so he'll bat left against Waka. Left-hand hitters. Left-handed. And then we'll do Jose Ramirez 2025 against righties. Okay. As you can see, this is his pitch mix. And this is the percentages in which he's going to throw those pitches. So he's going to throw that changeup 35% of the time, fastball, cutter, curveball. And then I don't really anything under like 10%, I don't really factor in because it's just kind of a one-off here, one-off pitch here. And even 10% is pretty low, but it's an off-speed pitch, so we'll throw it in. Just for data points. Let's see. And this will show you how batters have done against that said pitch arsenal. So really and truthfully, his changeup has been his best pitch this season. You know, not giving up a ton of power to it, not giving up a lot of hits. You know, 1 double and 1 triple on the changeup all year, just a handful of singles. So that's really interesting. It's really his fastball and cutter that are getting him in trouble, right? And when we see that, we've got 33% fastball usage and about 15% cutter usage. Now we can look at Jose. Those are the pitches we want to look at. Jose, really good fastball hitter. 311 average, 393 ISO, 6 of his what? You know, this will give you a total amount of homers, but he's hit 6 home runs off the 4-seam fastball. So one thing I want to look at here, we know the changeup is Waka's best pitch. So if we look at the changeup, he's batting 260 against the changeup, which is nothing crazy, right? But he's put the ball in play 44 times and 50 ABs. So he's not striking out to that pitch a lot. So he's making contact on the changeup. That's a good sign for us. We don't necessarily need him to put the changeup in play for a hit, but he can spit on that pitch, foul it off. stay alive in the box. Taking a look at the cutter, 320 average. I like it. I like it. Also a 21% hard hit rate on that fastball. Didn't mention that. That's pretty good. And he's getting a lot of fly balls on it. So I think that the total basis for Jose Ramirez today is going to be a great look. I don't think you can go wrong given the recent trends. But I would not use the hit rater. I would not just sit here and look at it and just immediately fire off the first 4 plays that you see in a parlay. I think you want to use it as a baseline, start somewhere, and you know what? We can look at just overs. I know people don't like to bet unders. We can just look at overs. Alright, what's next? And by the way, if you guys have a play that you want me to look at, post it in the chat, and we'll look at it together. I don't mind. I don't mind. I love labbing the board. I love talking ball. Well, Zach Neto has been hitting as well. Had a rough series against the Mets, huh? But man, everybody else, he's been a nightmare. Logan Webb K's. All right, let's look. Let's look at good old Logan Webb. All right. We're in San Francisco. Immediately, the first thing I see here is the weather. The weather's not super hot. Cooler weather tends to favor pitchers. Now, you can sit in San Francisco, the wind is gonna be blowing out there a lot. Ballpark the ballpark is designed to handle the wind, so the wind doesn't play a huge factor there. Let's kinda look here, right? Let's kinda see where Logan Webb is against the Mets in their career. So, immediately, you have quite a good bit of data here. 17 ABs, 14, 15, 16. And you're seeing 30% K rates, with some of the Mets' top guys, like Nemo, Lindor, Alonso, and Brett Baty. And these guys right here, if you just toggle by right-hand pitching, Vientos is a K target, Alvarez is a K target, Mauricio is a K target. This is already looking good, and I haven't even looked at the numbers. Um, let's see. Logan Webb, what are we at? And what number, Trevor, are you looking at here? You looking at like a 5.5 on Prize Picks on the book somewhere? What are you looking at? All right, Logan Webb in his career against New York Mets is over this line. Is over this line 3 out of 5 starts. And I'll tell you what, in his miss here, you will taking a K prop for a pitcher that got 24 outs in a game. You would take that 10 times out of 10. If Logan Webb gets 24 outs tonight, he is going over this line. So that's a positive sign. Logan Webb pitches deep into ball games. I mean, just look at this. I mean, 16 is a quote unquote bad start, which he did have a bad start. He's kind of had a couple of bad starts, hasn't he? 11 hit. I mean, Toronto has just been going crazy. Sleeper also has a 5.5 special. Nice, nice. I do need to get back on Sleeper. I haven't deposited over there. 5.5 on Prize Picks. I may have to take this myself, Trevor. Now that you've put me on this. Man, is this just a testament to how hot the Toronto Blue Jays are right now? 1 strikeout, 11 hits, and in these terrible, terrible starts for Logan Webb, he still manages 18 outs. He still manages 16 outs. So, let's see what the Mets have been doing. And the Mets in their last 10 games haven't really struck out a ton against right-hand pitching. I'm a Giants fan. The Blue Jays just got to him. I'm telling you, man, that team. Who would have thought at this date that we would have been saying the Toronto Blue Jays may be one of the best teams in baseball? Not me. That's for sure. Um, it's really interesting here. I feel like the Mets haven't been producing a ton, but they're also not striking out a ton. It's interesting. But I think there is something to be said about the BVP data here. 'Cause I mean, you get one or two of these guys, and you see how a whole team does versus a certain pitch. So you can't look at it as a whole. You can look at it individually. Um, but that is actually something I may write down. Web throws. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. So we'll look at it. We'll just start with Brandon Nimmo. So the way Doink's set up is it does it by individual matchups. I do think it would be cool if you could see it, kind of how you were saying, right? You could see the whole team stats on a page. That's what you're saying, right? Like you could just toggle by changeup, and it would show how everybody did against that. I love Doink, by the way. Best research for baseball I've found. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. I used Doink Sports long before I was affiliated with them, before I was on the team, and it was really the only thing I used. And I've had nothing but good things to say about it even before I joined Doink Sports. All right, so let's kind of look at it, man. This is pretty crazy, actually. A lot of recent strikeouts, but what we can do is kind of filter it player by player and go through it. It does take a little bit longer to do it this way, but I think you get a deeper understanding of the pitch mix and the player when it's set up like this. And sinker changeups, I believe. Yeah, yeah, and you'd be right. You'd be right. 25% sinker, changeup will mix in that sweeper and cutter, and that's about it. So yeah, you're right. Let's look at 2025 right hand pitching. 225 against the fastball, which we don't really need to look at. Changeup, handling the changeup well. Changeup, sinker. So yeah, handling the changeup and the sinker really well is Brandon Nimmo. Actually hitting the sinker pretty hard. Not hitting it for a ton of power, but you're seeing line drive, and that may be interesting to take a like if you can get past the BVP data here of him just not seeing him very well, he catches a sinker over the plate. That might be a double right there. That's what this this stat line here would tell me that. Line drive, get that line drive in the gap, double all day. Um, so that's Brandon Nimmo. Then you can filter by batter, so we can go to the next batter down the line and kind of take a look at it. I think for data for research purposes, it would be a lot faster if it was all set up in one screen for you. So maybe that's something I can bring up at the next meeting that we have, because that does make a lot of sense. All right, Lindor, change up 243, kind of meh. Sinker, he's handling the sinker really well, man. So if you look at a ton of the historical data for Logan Webb, it looks great. Then you start diving into the pitch mix, and it's like, how have these guys struggled so much against Logan Webb? And that is what we call baseball right there. That is what we call baseball. These guys just statistically handle the pitch mix very well. But for whatever reason, this guy's on the mound and they have problems. I mean, 417 against the sinker. What about the sweeper? 294, changeup. That's interesting. What is his pitching outs line today? I wonder if I would rather take his pitching outs line. 18.5. Yeah, that's kinda I mean, if you're looking for a plus money play, I wouldn't mind it. But if he goes 19 outs, you have to feel pretty strong that he's gonna get 6 strikeouts, right? So, I think if you're playing Prize Picks, you take the strikeouts. I think if you're betting on a book, you take pitching out. That would be my assumption. You can get this at plus money. I think it's worth a look, but you wouldn't I mean, it would probably be a demon on Prize Picks at what, 18.5, 19. He's due for a good start. That's true too. That's true too. And he has literally given up at least 6 hits in 9 of his last 10 games. Wow. And just in his last 5. Man, yeah, he definitely is due for a good start. So I'm guessing a lot of people might be on some of these mess lines. All right, any other plays you guys wanna look at? Anything else? Thanks for, submitting that play, Trevor. I appreciate that. Doesn't have a pitching outs props on Prize Picks at the moment. And a lot of times Prize Picks doesn't know where to price a guy like Logan Webb, and it's hard to price, right? I've seen just a regular over under line on Prize Picks of like 19.5 for him before. I'm also a little biased. Hey man, I'm a Braves fan myself, so I get it. I get it. Atlanta Braves have done nothing but disappoint me all year long. Um, do we just bite the bullet here and just say let's look at an Atlanta Braves player? Devers 1.5. Look at old Raphael. Already took it off of vibes. So as a Giants fan, what are your opinions on the trade? How's it panned out so far? Um, and what are like Giants fans thinking right now? It's kinda my thought. Michael Harris? Okay, we'll do Michael Harris next. So you so Huncho, you just want me to lose more money on Michael Harris today? Is that what we're doing? Look at old Devers. Okay. 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 So what was the date of the trade? Like how long has he been there? How many games has he played with this team? It seems like he kinda struggled when he first came on and now he's picking it up. On paper, it made a whole lot of sense, but it wasn't an immediate payoff. I think it won't be good until next year. I think we missed the playoffs barely. Yeah, and I'm wondering for a team like the Giants, do you have the capital to make another move to make a late run? And what would that look like? Who could you even add? Um, trading away didn't you trade away 2 pitchers, 2 starting pitchers to get Devers? So it's like I kinda feel like you guys are thin on the starting pitcher front. Alright, Devers. Has he ever faced old Clay Holmes? Which Clay Holmes came out of the bullpen most of his career, so Devers 2 for 7 with a homer. I understand that. You don't wanna give up and that's kind of the risk and the reward, right? Either you try to win right now, you give up too much on a trade, then if you don't make the playoffs, now you're just 2 steps back for next season. So I totally get that. Devers 2 for 7 with a home run off of Clay Holmes. Let's look at the pitch mix. And then we'll do Michael Harris. If you guys wanna see some other plays, just let me know, and a lot of Doink Sports, guys, a lot of the tools are free right now on the site. A lot of them are free. If you want, I will post this is my referral link in the chat here. See if I can do well, it won't let me post on Twitter. Won't let me post on Twitter through it, but if you use code Reeves At checkout, you'll get your first month for $4.99. First month for $4.99. Now, I would get in on this deal right now for $4.99 because it's gonna change soon. It's gonna change soon. I can't say too much, but things are gonna change on the website a little bit. So this just as a little hint, this $4.99 for a month is gonna be the best value that you can get moving forward, if that makes sense. So code Reeves at checkout. First month will be $4.99. Michael Harris destroys the Giants. I farm his unders a lot, but versus us, he's an all-star. I tell you, man. Michael Harris is one of the most frustrating Braves players to bet on, to watch, and Huncho and chat, we kinda go we lab plays together. We often take Michael Harris, and he has just cost us so much money this year. Let's take a look at the Devers. Oh, May 20th took him deep when he was in the Boston uniform. Okay, okay, okay. I kinda feel like Clay Holmes hasn't given up a ton of home runs. Let's see if I'm right about that. Hey, what? Mainly his slider. Did Devers hit it off a slider? Yeah, he did. Interesting. Yeah, it's just really his slider that's causing him issues. 500 ISO on that. Now, he doesn't throw it that much, so it's almost like, why don't you just eliminate that pitch if it's that much of a problem? Like, in theory, you just throw more sweepers, right? Is his sweeper any good? I mean, I think his problem is his off speed is, his slider sweeper stuff is just not good, right? That's what I'm gathering here. 375 sweeper, 250 ISO. Seems like the changeup are great, but when he's getting 2 strikes on these guys, he's having a hard time putting them away with these off speed pitches. They're just hanging or what? That is very interesting. I wanna look at Devers on this off speed stuff. Really good against the slider. See, so here's something that I will do if I don't have a ton of 2025 pitch data. So, like, for the sweeper, we only have 2 ABs. So I'll put it back to 2024. I'll kinda see, alright, so the sweeper, he hit this ball very well, right? The average doesn't tell the whole story, guys. Just keep that in mind. The average won't tell you the whole story. So he did not strike out on a sweeper last year. 45% hard hit rate, mostly line drive. So you didn't see him really hitting this pitch for a lot of launch angle, excuse me. Mostly line drives. So I think if you could go bases, you could go hits, runs, RBIs here. It's gonna be a solid pick, especially if you can get 1 or 2 guys on, just drive them in, get a quick first inning cash, right? Those are always the best. Rarely happen, but they're always the best. So had they made some changes in this? Jung-Hoo Lee leading off, Ramos, Devers, Adames up in the 4 hole. He's been hitting. Chapman, Flores. Am I reading this correctly? Am I reading this correctly? Patrick Bailey has a hit in 12 of 15 games? Holy. Oh my goodness. All right. Just don't look at the last 3, okay? Don't look at the last 3. They don't count. That's not a real baseball team. That's not a real baseball team, so we'll exclude those from the ledger, okay? Man, did it against Toronto, Dodgers, Arizona. Who is this guy? Who is this dude? What is his lines at tonight? Huncho, does this guy have a fantasy score line tonight? If this guy has a 3.5 fantasy score line, I'm taking it right now. What about bases? How is he getting on? Just a lot of singles and doubles, and he did hit a home run against Philly. Didn't he hit like a walk off against Atlanta? Walk off something or another. Could have sworn he did. That's insane. All right, let's take a look at Michael Harris. I'm also going to look at Matt Olson here, just because he appeared on the hit radar tool. Oh my goodness gracious! This right here would just show you. This would just show you the Brave season in a nutshell. Look who's starting for us today. This guy's been DFA'd twice this season already. The Philly home run was the inside the park. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's right. That's right. Man, I watched that video. Just hit off the wall, and it went so far away. Was it Brendan Marsh out there? Went so far away from him. All right. Tough. This is tough. He has a 2.5 total baseline. Oh my goodness. Prize Fix has no idea what to do with him today. 3.5 hit run RBI line. I think this guy's like might become Aaron Judge or something overnight, right? Probably a home run in most stadiums. Yeah, that's probably true. Man, like at some point, and look at Joey Wentz, right? Look at Joey Wentz for Atlanta. So he has two games with Atlanta so far. I watched this game against St. Louis. He comes out. He comes out of the bullpen. I'm sitting here going, Joey Wentz is on the Braves. Comes out, 9 outs, strikes out 6 of them out of 9 outs. I'm sitting here going, who is this guy? But he's literally been DFA'd. Then he goes 12 outs against the Yankees. So 2-hit ball. 2-hit ball against the Yankees. There's just no way. I'm telling you, this guy is due for some major regression. And I mean, the Rangers aren't the best team to go against him today, are they? Not really. Not really. Who are these guys in their lineup? Who is Michael Hellman? And why is he leading off? Cody Freeman? The Rangers actually have one guy batting over 250 against left-hand pitching this season. One guy. It's Josh Jung. But then you look at the BVP data, and it's pretty good. All right. Michael Harris, 2 for 6 off Nathan Eovaldi, for what it's worth. Profar said, steroids won't stop me. Okay. He's showing you guys he doesn't need the steroids. He doesn't need them to be good, okay? He's still good. Maybe he just found something else that they can't detect, right? Who knows? Matt Olson. So Harris is a 3.5 point fantasy today. And look, if you guys know me, I'm a big believer in 3.5 point fantasy score guys, especially when you have somebody that has stolen base upside. And here's the thing, like as rough as Michael Harris has been this year, he has a hit in 8 out of his 10 last games. He still has a hit, and that's 3 fantasy score, right? Somehow, in those games that he has a hit in, he only scored a run in 3 of them. So it's almost like Michael Harris has to have a two-hit game to cash this. He just can't get driven in, not with Nick Allen batting behind you. Seems like some of these guys have been better. Oh, is Austin Riley back today? Yeah. Let's just kinda look at the pitch mix stuff, and let's look at the book odds as well. So, -165 for a hit, 127 for 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Is this a demon? Is 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs a demon? Has he been stealing bags? No, he hasn't. That's the weird thing, is he he does have stolen base upside, but why is he not why do you have a hit in 8 of 10 games of your last 10 games, and you haven't swiped a bag in any of them? Why? Like, even in his last 15 games. How many stolen bases does he have this season? 12? It's like he had a big run of stealing bases here. He hasn't stole a base in, like, 17 games. Pretty insane. Alright, let's just look at the pitch mix. Right now, I don't feel great about it just because but you hit 1 extra base hit, and you're cashing. Left-hand hitters, left-hand hitter, and then Harris against righty. Also, if you guys wanna build out a slip on the live stream and we'll play it, let's do it. Let's do it. Alright. Splitter, curveball, four-seam, cutter. 4-pitch mix, interesting. And nothing's gonna jump off the page looking at the stats. Man, Splitter is really making a comeback, right? I'm in California, so I only got my DFS apps. Yeah. Yeah, same here. I'm actually in Alabama, so that's really all I have as well. And they're trying to ban those. Yeah, it's kind of a weird spot right now for sports betting. Let's see. I kind of wanted to look at the splitter. 200 average. That's not going to do anything for me. Curveball. Hmm. So Michael Harris is just having problems with a fastball and a sinker and a changeup, and a slider. Like these are what you're having problems with, but you can hit a curveball. He's really struggling with everything. That's just hmm. Hurts as a Braves fan. Handling the cutter pretty well though. I do like that because it's 20%. It's a 20% pitch. Fastball. I mean, look, if you're pitching to Michael Harris, just throw him 3 straight fastballs and strike him out on 3 pitches, right? That's all I'm saying. I think it's worth a look at 3.5. All right, let's see if the hit rater has anything else that sticks out to me. Let's look at last 10. I'm gonna take singles out. Actually. Sounds like a no-go on Harris. It's probably a 50-50, but Huncho, you know how those things go, right? You take the under, first pitch swing, and he's hitting at 485, dead center. You take the over, he's gonna swing a candy cane out there. So I don't know. Such is life in gambling. All right, let's see if anything else sticks out to me here. Salvi Perez has been swinging the bat. Woo! A lot of green. Salvi is on a 1, 2, 3, 4 game home run streak. Does he keep this going? More coming soon. Huh. What could this mean? What could it mean, guys? I don't know. Wish I knew. I'd tell you. And he's 4 for 9. Well, hold on. He's 4 for 9 against Williams. And he's swinging the bat like this? All right. Somebody tell me what Perez's lines are on Prize Picks. And Gavin Williams has a worse ERA on the road. We love that. We're He's a righty. Where does he throw the fastball? 35% of the time. And his fastball is getting struck. 4 homers on the fastball. 279 ISO. Cutter as well. 262 on the fastball. Yeah, whatever we can get Salvador Perez at tonight, I would like to take that. 357 against the cutter. 361 against the sweeper. Yeah. Let's go Salvador Perez. I'm gonna just take a quick look, see what he has on Prize Picks. 5.5 fantasy score just got bumped. Just got bumped. I watched it get bumped. So it was at 5. Now it's at 5.5. 5.5, virtually the same thing as 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, right? I do want to look. Where's the game? I do want to look at one thing. If we see that he's been walking quite a bit, I want to take fantasy score. Not really. I think you're fine taking either one. What would you rather play here, Huncho? Would you rather play? Yeah, yeah. It gives you walk protection. It gives you hit by pitch protection. So that's kind of what I was looking at, just to kind of see if there's walk upside. I wonder if you can you filter hit by pitches? Let's see if that's a stat. It matters. It is. Oh, you learn something new every day, guys. Hit by pitch. Okay. I just wanted to see if there was anything crazy sticking out. Just two. So yeah, I think fantasy score, even a double doesn't cash a 5.5 fantasy score. Right. Right. Because if you hit the double, you're at 5. But you still you still don't cash the 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs if you hit a double either. And if you score a run off that, you're cashing both. So it's essentially the same exact play. Fantasy score gives you the walk, hit by pitch protection. Um, maybe they say, okay, Salvi has 4 straight homers in 4 games. Let's just walk him today, and you'd still be alive, right? 2 walks, you're looking at 4. He scores off one of those, you're cashing. So I like that. So if y'all want to build a three man, we can go Salvador Perez 5.5 fantasy. We can do Logan Webb 5.5 strikeouts, and I guess we still need a third play, right? Unless y'all want to go Devers, but I think I mean we still got a little bit of time here. We've been live for 51 minutes. Um, Thank you guys for watching this. By the way, this was kind of just a little tester stream. We wanted to test the quality, the audio, all that stuff. Um, we've got some huge things coming for doing sports. A lot of changes. Can't really get too much into them today, but just know some big things are coming. And things that you guys will like too. Ways for you guys to get more involved with doing sports, and maybe just maybe put a little cash in your pocket at the same time. Just just as a hint. Just maybe anybody and everybody who has a Doink Sports subscription can make money. Maybe. I don't know. So, gonna be good. If there's any other plays you guys wanna look at, we can look at them. I do wanna add one more. So we've got Salvador Perez, 5.5 fantasy score. We've got Logan Webb, 5.5 strikeouts. I like both of those. I think they look good. They moved Webb to 6 on Prize Picks. Do we have a Prize Picks admin in the chat watching the stream? Bumped on the live stream? Unreal. Unreal, Trevor. See, that's also a thing, the downside of Prize Picks. You have to if you're not getting these lines in early, by the time you get them in later in the day, they're already so bumped that you can't get any value on it. Stream sniped, right, right. Saying, man. Just too much clout. Too much clout. I hate and love Prize Picks. I feel it. I feel it. You can ask Huncho. I have a love-hate relationship with it. See if there's any PvP data that really sticks out. Pages into Oscar. Let's take a look. Oscar 3 for 12, 58% K rate against Bayo. What's going on? What is going on? What's up? What's up with your boy Andy Pages, man? What's up with him? Also, what's the wind like here? Warm day. So has Mookie Betts been leading off for the Dodgers? Oh, Shohei led off. Did they make a change? Anyway. Pages has been struggling a little bit. Man, striking out in every game. Oh, that's Oscar. Multi-strikeout games. I don't know. That one scares me a little bit. Take a look here. Maybe a Yandy Diaz spot. Maybe not. Dude, it is absolutely incredible to me that Zach Littell has a 3.5 ERA on the year, and he's given up 24 home runs. How does this make sense? I would I bet if let's take a look at the Stat Shack actually, guys. Stat Shack will kinda break down you can filter it by next game for pitchers today. This will show you the starting pitchers listed today, and just as I expected, Zach Littell has given up the most home runs of anybody pitching today, but yet has a 3.5 ERA. Make it make sense. So, what that says is he's just giving up the long ball. That is it. So if you wanna look at home runs today, see if anybody's taking him deep. No, Hayes, Lux, Elio for two. You got a 9.5 total in this game too. Look, data would suggest that a regression is coming for Littell, but I don't know that that would happen today against the Cincinnati Reds. Data would suggest it though. It's like I kind of want to see what pitches he's really getting crushed on. Mostly a left-handed lineup for the Rays. I mean for the Reds, excuse me. So he's just giving up a plethora of home runs to every pitch. 3 to the splitter, 3 to the slider, 4 to the fastball. About righties. Mostly the slider and sinker. I mean, it just doesn't matter. He's just going to give up bombs. Does Littell have an earned run line today on Prize Picks? I'm sure it's a goblin. I mean, he did go 21 outs last season with a 3-hit ball, mind you. Insane. Gave up 4 homers against Boston. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. It's just like it just looks like he's good for a homer a game. Trying to nail that would be difficult though, right? Who's gonna do it? I tell you, if I didn't want the first live stream to have a strong green slip, I would say let's run the 3.5 demons today. But probably not gonna go there. I mean, we may have to look at Addison Barger. We may have to look at Addison Barger. Peter Montero, 267 ISO against lefties. Sorry. Let's see what Nathan Lukes and Addison Barger. See how they look. 7 out of 10 hits, runs, RBIs for Nathan Lukes in that leadoff spot. If we can get a hits, runs, RBIs for Nathan Lukes, I think that's the play. Barger 6.5. Yeah, that's holy man. He has just been incredible too, man. It's tough not to want to take Bargers today. Yeah, you let me know. You let me know what you guys want to do for the third spot. We've got We've got Perez 5.5, Logan Webb. If we still want to take Logan Webb at 6, let me know. If not, we could put Devers in there instead, and then Barger. Barger or Luke's. Jose, Ramirez. Oh yeah, I forgot about Jose Ramirez. We could do Jose. Just a 0.25 payout diff, so it's not too bad. It's not too bad. 315 to the fastball. Change up. Big ISO, big ISO, big ISO. So he's just giving up a ton of power. What's Barger doing it again? The slider, the sinker. So I think we want to target Barger more against sinker ball pitchers, right? 38% hard hit rate. I think that's what we want. I think that's what we want. All right. Let's look at Nathan Lukes real quick. Maybe he's a little bit better at hitting. Also, one thing I really like about Luke's leading off in this team is if he gets a single, a double, whatever it is, if he gets a walk, if he gets on base, you've got George Springer who's been hot, Vladdy who's been hot, Bo Bichette, and then Addison Barger behind you with the chance to drive you in. There's just so much upside with taking a guy like this who's in the leadoff spot. Batting 290 against the fastball, just good. Fastball, changeup, knuckle curve. 240 against the changeup. Not enough data really there. Slider. And Ernie. Is Ernie going to be in there today? I don't know if he'll be in the lineup today, man. Oh, he will. There he is. Batting 8th. Ernie Clement. Or do we just take George Springer, boys? 3 for 3 with 2 home runs against Keter Montero. 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. Talk to me, George. How we been doing? How have we been doing? All right. I wonder if we can. Springer's 7.5. Damn, that's a little high. A little high. What about Nathan Lukes? What about Nathan Lukes on Prize Picks? Appreciate you guys hanging out in the stream. We're gonna try to do these more often leading up to the kickoff of NFL college football. We're gonna try to do these on Fridays for sure. Kind of around this time, we'll be where we're at. We may try to do 1 or 2 during the week with some other guys we're working with. Kind of have some joint streams, just kind of going through doing some stuff like this. But we just want to have fun on the live stream. Um, hear about your guys' plays, and we can show what the Doink Doink Sports tools have to say about them. This is one of the best in-depth research tools on the market right now. Very low barrier of entry. You look at a lot of the big sports sites, and you're paying 50, 60, 70, $80 a month. If you use my promo code, you can get your first month for $4.99. Promo code Reeves at checkout. The name right here under me. $4.99 to try it out. I think it's a great price just to get a look to see if you like the tools. If you have any questions, DMs are always open on Twitter or on X. I'll see them, I'll read them, I'll help you out. We also have a Discord as well. I need to For some reason, I can't post comments on Twitter, but if you go to our Doink page, and click in the top right of your account, you can click join our Discord. The Discord link's there. Ton of guys in there are talking plays throughout the day. There's a tab for feedback, tab for issues that you're having, and me or one of the devs will quickly answer your issue request and get that fixed. Things like that. Very good community as well, guys. Um, yeah, I think we'll probably call it there. I think we'll go if we want to get this slip in. This is what I'm going with. Jose Ramirez 1.5 total bases. Salvador Perez 5.5 fantasy score, and whatever we can get Nathan Luke's at. Let me see. Let's just check Prize Picks real quick. Kind of see. He may not have any good lines. Yeah, Trevor, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Yeah, they're scared. They're scared to give a 1.5 hits, runs, RBI line for Luke's today. I think if you want to go with the Logan Webb 6 strikeouts, I think that's fine. If you want to play Addison Barger at 6.5 fantasy score, I think that's fine. Let's see if we can get one more quick one before we go. See if we can get one more quick one before we go. Now, I did take this prop already today. I don't know if it's still there, but if Ronald Acuna still has a 1.5 hits, runs, RBI line on Prize Picks, I think that would be a good play as well today. Ronald's been batting in the third spot of the lineup. Profar's been hitting the ball pretty well, so if Profar gets on base, Ronald can drive him in. Vice versa, you've got Baldwin, Riley, Murphy coming in behind Acuna. I think that would be a good play. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it there, guys. We've been live for over an hour. Thank you to everyone hanging out, and I'll see you next time.